Okay, so this time around we have 3 events because it seems like we can't just have a new moon or a full moon. We have a new moon, we have a solar eclipse, and we have the autumn equinox coming in tomorrow. So 3 pretty significant things. So the new moon, it's again in Virgo. So we remember from last time the black moon is because you have 2 new moons in the same sign, in the same month basically, and it only happens like once every, I think it was 33 to 36 months or something like that, so pretty significant. And as you recall, the last time we were at that 0 degree mark, so we were in this cocoon sort of phase, and now we're at 29 degrees, so we're now out of that cocoon phase and blossoming. So any 29 degrees of a zodiac is considered a potent degree for soul growth. And it seems that whatever this lunar cycle has in store for us, there's going to be some immense growth. So change is coming. So we're leveling up whether we like it or not. So and obviously, and because of the solar eclipse, as you know, they tend to bring in karmic events that lead us down a new path, and the energy also brings us into a new state of awareness, challenges us to try something new, and brings acceptance into our lives, and that allows us to embrace the idea of new beginnings. So, or at least hopefully it does. So this solar eclipse energy will be concentrated around the idea of health, well-being, and our day-to-day routines, and that's because we're in Virgo, and these are sort of like Virgo attributes or traits that are very important to Virgos. So it seems like the universe wants us to create some structure and balance in order to bring our bodies into a state of wellness and wholeness. So we're being called to listen to our inner wisdom of our bodies and nurture what it is we need. So if you feel you need some downtime, take the downtime. If you feel you need to do something, do it, because Virgos are doers as well. So, you know, like use your intuition and your wisdom to decide which way you have to go here. So the other interesting thing about Virgo, and this is kind of new to me, I didn't really realize that, but it's not surprising. So Virgo also rules our digestive system. So not just on an on a physical level, but also on an emotional and mental level as well. So you might think of it in this way. What is it that we are having trouble digesting in our lives? Maybe it's a physical thing, maybe it's dairy, or maybe it is something painful that we have had a hard time accepting. So something to keep in mind. So I think that is going to be an important part of what this new moon is. Like working with the idea of digesting our emotions can be very helpful with this eclipse. So this, again, it's working in tandem with the new moon that we had in August, which was also in Virgo. So we might find that, you know, something that started then is actually coming to fruition now because they're both in the same signs. One at 0 and then one was at 29. So one was the beginning, and now this is sort of like the end of that cycle. We're building up on whatever was happening at around, you know, that time frame. So, and again, the other thing to consider about eclipses, they operate as part of a bigger cycle. So this current cycle will be effective for until actually February 2027. I was going to say for 6 months. They are very active for 6 months, but this one is going to be continuing until February 2027. And I think part of the reason for that is because this is a Virgo solar eclipse. We've also had a Virgo lunar eclipse, and all the other eclipses in that sign are going to be lunar eclipses. And there are going to be more until February 2027. So something else to keep in mind. So again, eclipses represent like quantum leaps for us. They rapidly expand or accelerate our growth, leading us to our highest destiny. So, as we all know, that's not always comfortable or what we want, but it is what we're going to get. For many of us, it's not what we came here to achieve, or so we think. We came to be pushed. We came to be challenged. We came to be prodded, because we know deep down that we have a potential just waiting to be uncovered. But of course, we all live in a lot of fear, especially when we think about how we deal with our ego and stuff, right? Like how our ego kind of steps in and, you know, that little voice on our shoulder telling us, no, you gotta be careful. You know, sometimes, you know, being too careful never really brings us any rewards, right? The more risk you take, the greater the reward. So if anything, let's consider how we need to come back to this idea of mindful digestion. So we got to work on treating our body, mind, and emotions and soul with patience and extra care right now. So, what else do we need to know about this one? Yes. So, this Virgo energy, which strives for perfection, can be a wonderful challenge as long as we don't allow ourselves to become overly focused on the flaws and feel guilty. So this is where the Virgo Pisces opposition comes into effect. And you know, it never really dawned on me until I was actually looking at this that, yeah, Virgo and Pisces are opposite each other. It's very interesting because the opposite signs, Capricorn opposite is Cancer, they complement each other. So it's actually kind of interesting. So the Virgo, we have Virgo looking for perfection and flaws and stuff like that. And then Pisces is the opposite. And because they're emotional, they try to deal with, compassion and finding that beauty in the imperfections. So bringing balance to that energy. I think it's actually kind of interesting that we're in this opposition right now. So for some of us, a new calling is going to surface within the next 6 months because, as we said, the eclipses are, they bring us into energies for 6 month cycles. So what starts now will be building for the next 6 months and will come to culmination over the next 6 months. And this might actually be a good time to look back at what happened during the last eclipse session, which I think was in March and April area. And that one was, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to look back, I think that was the Cancer Capricorn had a lot of things going on there. So that kind of has come to its conclusion, and now we're doing this Virgo Pisces thing. So we might find a few things coming up at this time. And the people that are going to be most affected by this particular new moon and the eclipse are the mutable signs. So it's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. There's also, it is going to be impactful for the cardinal signs as well, which are the Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And I know that they've had a lot of things going on with them lately. So I think it's just sort of like rather than being the focus or the ones that are going to be the most strongly affected, they're still getting affected, but now it's kind of a little bit tempered because now we're focusing on the others. And it's almost like me as a Capricorn, I'm like, okay, cool, because I'm tired of having my ass kicked all the time. Somebody else's turn. So yeah, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, your turn. So with this eclipse, we might feel an urge to act on impulse. That is kind of like Virgo thinking. But it is important that we don't jump to conclusions without considering other people's feelings or reactions. That's the Pisces kicking in. So there's a big difference between asserting ourselves from a place of like healthy confidence or and then like asserting ourselves just by reacting, because that's when we can hurt others unintentionally and we may regret it. So try not to act on impulse too much. Take that step and think first. So it is also important to remember that the eclipses obscure areas in our lives in order to see another area better. So I think with this particular eclipse, I think it's forcing us to chew on those emotions or digest those emotions a little bit better. I think it's forcing us to deal with that a little bit more than maybe we have been used to or what we've been doing. I like this little tidbit that I found here too. So there is a gradation process in the signs. So prior to Virgo, we had Leo. So Leo, allows us to discover our true essence and our creative spark. That's kind of what Leo is. And being of service, turning our uniqueness into something purposeful. And now we're going into the Virgo part, which will allow us to follow the natural flow of life, because with Virgo, the Virgo talents are the doing, but their superpower is that they just know. They just know that something is for the good and they're going to do. It's actually kind of interesting, and I hadn't thought about it before. I was reading a whole big thing about how the first 6 signs of the year, so we're starting with Aries. So the Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, those 6 signs are all about I. It's about different aspects of learning and soul growth that are related to yourself, like specifically yourself. It's the I signs. And then the next 6 signs, we've got the Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. They start moving into the we. They're more about focusing on others. And it's interesting because when you look at spiritual growth, actually growth in general, even if you look at like a baby is all about themselves. They only care about their own comfort. They want to be fed. They need attention. It's all about them. Everything revolves around them. And as we get a little older, we start to recognize, oh, it's not just me, there are others. And then we learn to recognize that there are others around us. And then from there, we recognize that, oh, we can share with these others, and so on and so forth. And it's almost the progression of the soul has the same sort of progression. It goes from I to we. So it's actually kind of interesting, this whole, I hadn't even thought about that, but this whole concept, and that's sort of what this Virgo eclipse is bringing in now as well, which is why it's about kind of digesting those emotions. It's just we're just on that cusp of turning into the we and looking at the we stuff rather than just focusing on ourselves. So with this new moon, so they are about beginnings and setting intentions and stuff. But this one isn't just about chasing something new. Instead, it's about refining, improving, elevating some part of our current reality, fixing it, taking it to the next level, something that's already present in our lives. We want to advance, we want to progress, we want to grow. So, here's this other little part about the signs. So, archetypically, Aries to Virgo, the journey to selfhood and individuation. The first half of the zodiac is about me, myself, and I. Aries, my identity. Taurus, my resources and values. My thoughts and communication are Gemini. My home and roots are Cancer. My creativity and self-expression is Leo. And finally, my work and my lifestyle is Virgo. From Libra onward, everything changes. It's no longer just about me, it's about us. So yeah, Libra is the next sign. So something to keep in mind. So with that said, let's look at how each of the signs are going to be affected during this new moon. So again, this is your sun, rising, or moon sign. So Aries. This lunation will be about abandoning the ego and learning how to effectively collaborate with others. You are learning how to listen and communicate with those around you, as this eclipse energy makes you more selfless with the people you love and work with. When Saturn was briefly in your sign, you may have learned that maturity is needed when navigating relationships. That message will return once more this week. Releasing old habits and being more mature with your friendships can also be a part of the transit. As you become more attentive to the needs of others, it could strengthen your friendships and work partnerships as well. The new moon will continue a similar lesson from the current Saturn in Pisces transit that began a few years ago. Taurus, again, sun, rising, moon sign. The Taurus eclipse will help you, the Virgo eclipse will help you identify the dynamics in your existing relationships. This is a time for you to be honest with what you want in a relationship and see whether or not your partner has been reciprocating. You may also feel compelled to discuss any qualms and work things through, since Mercury is in Libra. For those who are single, this is a time to focus on the qualities that you want in a partner. Reflect on your dating history and what you don't want to repeat in your future relationships. Overall, this transit is showing you the elements needed in order to strengthen your relationships. Gemini. Under the Virgo new moon, you may step up in the professional sector. Saturn's influence will also be very impactful, allowing you to build within your career. If you've been lazy lately, Saturn encourages you to get back to work, while the Virgo moon provides direction and structure. These transits will also impact your relationships, both romantic and familial. If you have children, you may start to have a much deeper connection with them or help them uncover their talents. In your romantic relationships, the eclipse will be a period of transparency as you release the past and allow yourself to move forward from past bonds that will still influence you. Cancer. This is a beautiful period for you, but first, you will have to experience the emotional potency associated with this energy. Family and career will be important themes at this time, and you will need to learn how to balance them in your daily life. You must learn to effectively manage your time. With Jupiter in your sign making a friendly aspect to Saturn and the moon, you will understand just how valuable solid relationships are. You are discovering how much your friends love and care about you as the moon helps you feel more appreciated. The transit is going to make your heart feel especially full as you welcome the blessings and joyful moments that your loved ones bring into your life over the next several months. Leo. Overall, this week will have a brainstorming energy that will catapult your ideas. The Virgo moon will help you refine those plans and be methodical as well as diligent with your existing projects. Don't give up on the work that you are doing, especially if you're focused on your professional or academic projects. On the flip side, if hobbies are your priority, you will see the evolution of the personal project that you've poured your time and energy into for many months or years. The new moon in Virgo is about learning to be meticulous and working through errors. Believe in your goals and vision since you're still learning, and there is a time for you to apply all that you have learned to further develop your masterpiece. Virgo. Having uncomfortable conversations will be a lot more manageable during the new moon in your sign. Honesty and transparency will be key themes as this energy serves as a positive reset. This is a period that prepares you to face the next chapter and helps you make practical plans to write your story over the next year. The solar eclipse in your sign will also bring healing to your financial sector, allowing you to develop better relationships with your finances. If you've been splurging lately, you will begin to take your savings plan a lot more seriously over the next several months. The eclipse will shed new light on all aspects of your life, including your professional sector. Libra. It may feel as though the world is slowing down for you during this eclipse. Nevertheless, utilize this period for deep introspective work. This is the perfect time for you to heal and discover what may be holding you back. The moon will help you to recharge your batteries and prepare for the sun's entry into your sign next week. If you are a content creator, writer, or artist, this transit will also help you uncover new ideas and get more serious about your hobbies or artistic endeavors. Scorpio. Because your friendships will be impacted during this transit, this week is a good time to revisit those important people from the past with whom you may no longer be in contact. The lunation could be similar to a Mercury retrograde, allowing you to contact them, or they may contact you. It could be a period for reconciliation or working things through if you had a falling out with a good friend in the past. It's time to either clear things up and reunite or close that chapter of your life for good. Sagittarius. This week, a magnifying glass will be placed on your professional sector. This is a period for building alliances, working well with others, and remaining diplomatic. The eclipse will bring changes for mutable signs, and this can be a period of deep evaluation as you consider the steps for your future. Do not make any hasty decisions at this time, and instead try to go with the flow. This is a time for patience, positive collaboration, and practical decision making. Put the impulsive decisions on hold, and instead focus on the leader that you can be for others. Capricorn. This is an expansive period for you, as the eclipse allows you to connect with new ideas. The world around you may become a library of stories that you will be interested in uncovering. Mentors and teachers will surround you, and you will want to learn more from them. You are discovering your philosophy and thinking process over the next year, as the eclipse allows you to research, learn, and continue to grow. With this energy, you may also see yourself in a new light with increased confidence. Aquarius. For you, this lunation is about discovering the path you want to be on. The new moon in Virgo is showing you that hard work takes time and patience. Nevertheless, this will be a period that prepares you for the next phase of your life. This is a time to release old patterns that are blocking you, as well as face your past. There is a lot of transformative energy present, and with Pluto already in your sign, you are seeing why it is essential to learn from who you were to discover the power you have now. Connect with your armor and get ready to channel the soldier within. Pisces. The start of the year brought to light a new or existing love story during the Venus transit in your sign, and now the eclipse is helping you uncover another layer. Trusting partners, protecting your boundaries, and adding some balance to your relationships will be essential during this eclipse cycle. You are understanding the value your heart has and the care it needs, which will allow you to officially break free from toxic partners moving forward. So I'm going to bring you guys into a meditation, and it's a little bit longer than the last one we did, but I think very important. And as we go into this meditation, I want you to consider what areas of your life need adjustment so that you can free up space to bring in the unknown and to meet the unknown. What in your life needs restructuring or reimagining? Where are you running in circles, spending too much energy without making any real progress? So just something that you need to consider. What's keeping you in a place that you've already outgrown? Maybe it's because it felt safe or because you didn't see other options. In 5 months from now, we're going to see that we'll be on a completely new journey. So we need to start preparing now. So almost think of it like you have one piece of luggage and 5 months to decide what you're going to take with you. So what is it that you really want to keep, and what is truly essential? What no longer fits into the new version of your life that's about to unfold? So I'm just going to ask you all now to kind of settle yourselves, get yourself into a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take a deep, relaxing breath in. Gently and slowly exhale. Another deep breath in. Hold it for 4 counts. And release it softly. Your body is at ease, soft and pliable. You are safe, and you feel yourself relaxing deeper and deeper with each slow breath. Quietly scan down your body, beginning with the crown of your head, taking a deep breath, and release any tension on your out-breath. Let this feeling of relaxation soften the muscles around your face, temples, and jaw. Don't clench your teeth. Let your tongue rest gently on the roof of your mouth. Take another deep breath and become aware of any tension in your neck and shoulders. Breathe in, and as you exhale, let your shoulders drop, becoming soft and relaxed. Let this feeling of relaxation spread down your arms, into your fingers, down to your chest, abdomen, your back, legs, right down to your toes. Breathe to your own rhythm and let your whole body become heavy, soft, and relaxed. Create a picture in your mind of a place of safety. Picture a place where you felt safe as a child, or a place you feel safe now. Where would you go when you need a break? Do you have a favorite room, chair, a place outdoors? Think of a place where you have felt safe before and imagine this place in your mind. Now that you have a safe place fixed in your mind, notice how you are feeling right now. Feel the feeling of being safe. How does it feel to be safe? How does your stomach feel when you feel safe? What about your muscles? Your face? Where in your body do you feel this feeling of safety? Notice your body as you have this feeling. An emotion may be experienced in one place in your body or in several. When you experience each of the feelings I mentioned during this meditation, notice where in your body you are feeling something. Also notice what you are feeling. For example, you may experience feelings of heaviness, tightness, tingling, pain, comfort, lightness, warmth, or fluttering. Notice your body as a whole and the individual parts of your body. You may notice changes in muscle tension, clenched jaw or a relaxed jaw, tight or loose fists. You may notice changes in the way your face, stomach, head, chest, throat, or other areas feel. With each emotion I mention, I will guide you to experience the associated physical sensations. Each time, just notice how your body is feeling, what it feels like, where the sensations are located. Now, let's begin the sensory process of experiencing emotions and getting in touch with feelings with emotional awareness. Imagine a feeling of happiness. Think of a time when you felt happy, and allow yourself to experience some of this feeling again. What does happy feel like in your body? Where in your body is the feeling of happiness located? Experience the physical sensation of happiness. Now I want you to imagine the feeling of anger. Think of a time when you were feeling angry, and allow yourself to experience some of this feeling again now. What does anger feel like in your body? Where in your body is the feeling of anger located? Experience those physical sensations of anger for a moment. Let's continue. Imagine the feeling of pride. Think of a time when you were feeling proud, and allow yourself to experience some of these feelings again now. What does pride feel like in your body? Where in your body is the feeling of pride located? Allow yourself to experience the physical sensations of pride for a moment. Now I want you to imagine the feeling of sadness. Think of a time when you were feeling sad. Allow yourself to experience some of this feeling again. What does sad feel like in your body? Where in the body is the feeling of sadness located? Experience the physical sensations of sadness for a moment. Okay, let's move on. Now I want you to imagine the feeling of excitement. Think of a time when you were feeling excited, and allow yourself to experience some of this feeling again now. What does excited feel like in your body? Where in your body is the feeling of excitement located? Experience the physical sensations of excitement for a moment. Now I want you to imagine the feeling of guilt. Think of a time when you were feeling guilty, and allow yourself to experience this feeling again now. What does guilt feel like in your body? Where in your body is the feeling of guilt located? Allow yourself to experience the physical sensation of guilt for a moment. Now imagine the feeling of embarrassment. Think of a time you felt embarrassed and allow yourself to experience some of that feeling again now. What does embarrassment feel like in your body? Where in your body is the feeling of embarrassment located? Allow yourself to experience the physical sensations of embarrassment for a moment. Now imagine the feeling of joy. Think of a time when you were feeling joyful and allow yourself to experience some of this feeling again now. What does joyful feel like in your body? Where in your body is the feeling of joy located? Allow yourself the physical sensation of joy for a moment. You have now imagined several feelings. Just relax and allow the feelings that arise for you to be present for a moment. Notice how you are feeling right now without trying to encourage or discourage any particular emotion. Just be. Let yourself feel whatever it is that comes up for you. Notice how your body feels. Where in your body are you feeling something? What does this tell you about the emotions you are experiencing? Does your body feel right now the way it did when you imagined a particular emotion a few moments ago? If so, which one? Can you identify the feeling or feelings you have right now? Just notice, observing the state of your body and allowing your body to speak to you. Notice that all of the emotions, both positive and negative, can serve a useful purpose. It is okay to feel. It is normal and natural to have emotions. When you are in tune with your body, you can allow your body to speak to you and find out what your body is telling you. Your body will let you know which situations are positive and which ones you may want to change. You will experience both positive and negative feelings. From time to time, you can deliberately help yourself feel good by imagining a positive emotion and the physical feelings that accompany it. Just do that quickly right now. Imagine again the feeling of happiness. Where in your body is this located? You can experience this feeling now. Feel the sensations in your body that accompany happiness. Allow the sensations to build and grow, feeling a positive sensation of happiness. Just be with this feeling. Keep with you the feeling of happiness and a feeling of calm as we slowly return back to our awareness. Take a few grounding breaths, deep breaths, while we get back to our bodies. Wiggle your toes, shift your spine, move your head to the right, to the left, forwards, backwards. Now open your eyes slowly when you are ready. If we're all back, I want you to consider all the emotions that you felt, good and bad. Take a look at what feels familiar, what you've been holding on to. Is this something that you can let go of to make room for what you need? To make room for what you need now in your life to move forward? What do you need now for your well-being? For wellness, for wholeness? Keep all this in mind as you are deciding on what intentions to set. And with this new moon, I also want you to consider to set an intention to grow something, not to just manifest. As we move from I to us, let's look at something for us, something to grow, not just something you want to manifest. And this new moon is a good time to reset and realign as we walk into the darker seasons, or as some people might call them, shadow season. And for the record, shadow doesn't mean, I think there's a lot of confusion with what shadow means, like what our shadow selves are. Our shadow selves aren't just the parts of us that we deny or that we don't want to admit that we have, like the negative emotions. I'm an angry person. I don't know. I can't think of any right now. They're not just the sides of us that we want to deny. They are also the sides of us that we need to acknowledge. We are allowed to have the negative emotions, the guilt, the shame, the anger, the fear. We're allowed to have all that. We're supposed to have all that. That's what our shadow sides are. And they're called our shadow sides because we don't let them forward. But we do need to acknowledge them. We don't necessarily have to act on the shadows, but we do have to acknowledge them. So keep that in mind as you're digesting some of these emotions, because this is a really good time to do that. Probably a really good time to journal about what you're feeling right now, or to journal as we go into the darker seasons, and maybe even on what you discovered in this meditation. So with that, I am going to stop recording.